Good evening, and welcome all to the Mancunian Way. It is Saturday night, Christmas Eve to all football fans out there, Manchester City fans. The day is upon us. It's like it was yesterday, but we are back to football. And tonight we're going to talk all about West Ham United with a couple of people, I won't say guests. We know Richard in the gas. Bloody hell. Richard, how are you, mate?
I'm good. Just waking up. So caught up a bit on last night's results and getting ready for Sunday because it's Sunday here already.
Yeah, that's weird, that. Vader, how are you, my friend? My Canadian brother. How are you?
I am great. With the season kicking off on Friday. I've been missing it so much, guys. I don't care whether they were rival games or not, and I needed football. So Christmas is here because I can't wait for tomorrow.
Good. Right, quick one. Everyone's asking, why is my name Mike? Anyone who reads my tweet or follows us at Horsey Sitter, the Mancunian Way, knows that I went on BBC 606 earlier tonight to do fan versus fan preview. 60 seconds, get a lot of questions. Gave my name, gave a channel name, and Robbie Savage decided to call me Mike all the way through the thing. Mike. And yes, Ryan Corrie knows all about it. I kept getting called Mike, so I asked Robbie, who's Mike? The third person in this. There was Gizmo. Or Gizmo, okay, who was the West Ham fan, and there was myself, obviously the Manchester City fan. But yeah, I got called Mike, so I thought as a bit of a giggle tonight, and in honor of Robbie Savage, we call it Mike.
What kind of professionalism is that to be calling you Mike throughout a whole show?
I did keep telling him my name was Martin. He kept calling me Mike. And big thank you to the subscribers. We've had a jump in subscribers in the last hour. Big thank you to you, ladies and gents. That is amazing. Keep hitting that like button and the subscribe button as we march on to 1,000 subscribers, which, as many know, will open up a lot more opportunities for you, the Mancunian Way family. Go on, Rich. You're going to say something?
I was just going to say everyone knows your name's Dave.
Right, do you want to explain? Because there'll be younger people in the audience who won't get that reference. Come on,
all I'll say, for those of you go online, but Mike is actually the Rodney Trotter of the show, so he's Dave.
Right, I'll tell you what I'll do, because I'm going to confuse people. I'll change it, and I'll call myself Mike Martin. There you go. Anyway, so this evening, we're just going to say a few hellos. And then we'll crack on. Patrick is in the house. Good evening, mate. How are you? Thank you for joining us, True City fan. Who's got a channel? Go over there and give that a watch. It's an amazing show. Ryan Corrie. They are. Straight away. Hello, Mike. Big Morgan's in the house. Good evening, mate. Muddy Duck, how are you? FIFA, please tell me you've got into our fantasy team. A couple of little bits before we get going. The Mancunian Way Fantasy League is now up and going. I think there's 22, 23 people in there now. And I've achieved myself a cool 27 points today already. And I've still got 3 or 4 players to play tomorrow. Determined to win it this year. I came third bottom last year.
What's the given for winners? Are there penalties for?
I bought the winner. It was actually a prize. We did give a prize, and it was a Manchester City shirt that I bought.
Nice.
But funnily enough, and the person who won it, I didn't know because you didn't put your real name on it. My eldest son won it. So I ended up having to buy him a City shirt, which was a bit like, what are you doing? I know it wasn't cheating or fixed. He didn't put his name down as my son, and he doesn't even live with me. So, yeah.
Well, I always come bottom every year. I pick a team. I never do anything all season. Patrick Bamford and Calvin Phillips played 38 games for me, both of them last season, and I always come bottom. But it's a family and work tradition. Me coming bottom.
Brendan Masters, hello, greetings to you as well. Football guy is in the building. Hello. Yeah, who's Mike? Been through that one. The best football team in the world are back in action. They are. There's a lot of love for Mike. Let's say blue. How are you, mate? Hope the family are good. Right. Yes, I did have a good holiday. If you don't know, I am a little bit bronzed at the moment. I had a lovely time in Marbella. No, I went to Tenerife. Didn't really go to Marbella. Right, Manchester City. We are back. The season is about to begin for us, and we are away at West Ham United. Are we all excited before we get into the nuts and bolts of it? Is anyone like, oh, this pre-season's been a bit too short? Or are we all ready, recharged and ready to roll?
I'm ready, but it's a 1:30 a.m. kickoff, so I'm not looking forward to a night of crap sleep. But I'm looking forward to the football. I'm glad we had the summer off, actually. I'm glad we had no Euros or whatever else. And, it's going to be a very long, intense season. So it's a good thing everyone had a break, players, fans. But no, it's exciting. I just wish it was a 9:30 p.m. kickoff or 7 tomorrow morning and not right in the middle of the night.
Yeah, well, you two got it bad this time. I can laugh at you now. You both laughed at me over Bayern Munich, so I'm reversing it now.
I wasn't laughing, but I was enjoying the fact that it was now over in North America. But I mean, it's not as harsh as what Rich has to do. The kickoff for me is 11:30 a.m. tomorrow, so I am 100% looking forward to it. I just wanted football. So if it was 3 or 4 other preseason games, I would have taken it. The fact that the season's here, I'm ready. I'm ready for it. So I'm going to be decked out, making sure I'm having my brunch tomorrow. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah. I'm ready and I'm not. I am a little bit apprehensive at the moment due to obviously the summer.
Okay.
And Rich can't talk. You want to see some of Rich? If I showed you Rich's WhatsApp messages over the last few days, talk about meltdown. People say I meltdown.
Yeah.
Rich has been having a little meltdown, haven't you, Rich, over the last few days?
Well, I just think it's. I think we are going to see a real danger of us seeing the institution of Barcelona Football Club dying, and no, I do. I think
we have a moment's silence for him.
And the only way I see out of it, ironically, is probably some Middle Eastern billionaire that the fans having to rewrite the constitution to save the club and being bought out by a Middle Eastern country, which would be, I mean, funny. It would be funny in a way.
Would they do that?
If it's the club's shown that actually the fans and the board are no longer interested in the long-term surviving, the long-term quality of the club, and they will sell everything out for short-term. So if you ask me, if the fans are going to vote for what they're doing now, then the fans would easily vote for being bought by Saudi Arabia rather than getting relegated to, the third tier of Spanish football or fourth tier of Spanish football and starting again. But it's a real danger. They're betting on getting a 30% turnover in a COVID world with La Liga in, trouble with recession everywhere. And I think it's crazy. I think it will push them to the brink of administration. Because I think even if they succeed and go and win the Champions League next year, they're not going to see the turnover they want.
Yeah, it does look scary. It does look scary. It looks like classic examples of investing on a bubble, right? You're investing with the assumption that things are going to remain at the value moving forward or even greater, and it's high risk. It speaks nothing of sustainability, so I don't understand how these levers are able to work. But hey, all things come to an end.
It's populism. I mean, it's Donald Trump wins an election with $1 trillion tax cut. It doesn't have to be afforded, but it wins you the election. I think that's all Barcelona's become now. They do this because it's going to win the next election, and the fact it might bankrupt the club, that might be a problem for 5 years' time. And I don't think the politicians running these clubs care anymore. It's just about votes and popularity and doing what you want to do for tomorrow, not for next week.
Yeah, it's a funny one with Barcelona because Barcelona, let's be honest, and this is not a Barcelona stream. We're just having a quick couple of minutes on it because it was brought up, but they're an institution, not just in La Liga, not just in Spain, in football. They are part of the original G14. Everything, everything about them was the big I am. And it's so ironic that La Liga are the ones that are they not cutting the hands to spite the face though with this? Because would they really allow Barcelona to go? Would that be in the best interest of La Liga though? Because let's be honest, the league's gone downhill already.
Yeah. But it might be in the interest of Real Madrid. I think what you've got to remember is that there's a huge nationalism in Spain. There's a huge nationalism between Catalonia and the rest of Spain. And,
yeah, there is that.
The fact is, in some ways, for a lot of people, they're either anti-Madrid or they're anti-Barcelona. And, I think in the top of Spanish football, there's, a bit more power for, shall we say, the Madridistas than there is for the Catalans at the moment. So, there's probably other things at play. And the whole of Spanish league's borrowed its future to, it's not, I think it's CVC did the deal and the whole league's taken money from the future. So you've basically got a league that's borrowed money to try and effectively to try and compete with the Premier League whilst it's declining. You've then got clubs in that who've borrowed even more money to try and do that. And it is an existential crisis because, if Madrid or Barca drop off, that damages the whole league. If it's not competitive, if it's not interesting. So I just think it's absolutely crazy and find it quite ironic, really, that City have suddenly gone all puritanical with their money and actually trying to save money and offer 30 million for players who go for 65. It's fascinating to see that at the same time as Barcelona, absolute polar opposite.
I told you there was a rant in him somewhere. Told you. That's just the tip of what he's been saying the last few days. Like, he's just not having it. Right, we'll get into that. We'll come away from that. Let's Beta, you wanted to say anything for a couple of minutes before we jump into the West Ham?
No, I'm good. I'm ready to talk about it.
Right. West Ham United then. For me, was it 6th or 7th to finish? Was it 7th last year? 6. They finished it in the European places anyway. Tough opening game away in London, West Ham away. If I remember rightly, obviously we did the watch alongs. I thought they gave us 2 very good games last season, especially if we go back to that away game, the last away game. Certain Mr. Bowen scared the life out of us, and Edison did his normal okey cokey in and out job. But you got to give credit where credit's due. David Moyes did a very, very good job with West Ham on not a lot of money. He hasn't had hundreds and hundreds of pounds to spend. And again, even this summer, not had a lot of money sort of thrown, And when I mean a lot of money, someone's going to come and they spent 35 million on a striker. 35 million pounds on a striker is jack shit nowadays. I'm sorry with my language, but it is nothing nowadays. That is what you generally go and buy a championship striker sort of for, or bottom of the league, Premier League striker for. So they're not burning out the money, if you know what I mean. They've just signed, obviously, Maxwell Cornet, which I think is a very, very astute signing. I think it's a very clever signing as well. Yeah, I'm totally honest by them. Start with you, Vader, first. West Ham United. What do you think of their transfer business this summer?
I thought what it spoke to me was just continued confidence with what they had last season. I think they took an approach where we were competing in Europe. we finished 7th last season, but how they competed and the personnel and some of the injuries that they had, I think they looked at the squad and be like, you know what, we don't need a huge influx of players. I think we remaining healthy will have a better push for it. So I thought their approach just spoke to, we trust these guys. And my last memory,
sorry,
no worries. My last memory is of how well they played against us to close out that season, because yes, we didn't have the personnel that we would ideally want in defense, but regardless, they were well organized. They knew how they wanted to attack us. They had us stressing for a half, more than a half, and it required us to equalize and to continue on that season. So I think it's a West Ham that's confident in themselves, and I think they're going to pose a problem this season.
I mean, what I'll do is, before we come to you, Rich, I'll just quickly run through some of their signings. They've signed Naif Agad, 30 million from Rennes, who's a defender, I believe. They've got, obviously, Alfonso Areola. They've got him on a permanent now, PSG, for 8 million. There was Flynn Downs for 9.6 million from Swansea. The big summer signing was obviously Gianluca Scamacca from Saluzzo. I think he scored 16 goals in 36 games, which is not bad at all, but it's not prolific. And obviously, in the last 48 hours, they managed to get the Maxwell Cornet deal over the line from Burnley. Obviously, they've lost Mark Noble, they've lost Yarmolenko, they've lost Ryan Fredericks, they've lost Masuko, they've lost Sonny Perkins. So there's been a little bit of change at West Ham. From looking at that, they seem to have lost a little bit of experience and brought in some players. What are you thinking of their transfer business, Rich? Is it to take them on to the next level?
I think it's more to keep them where they are. Personally, I don't think they've signed players that are going to take them up to, really rival Spurs or an Arsenal or Chelsea. I think they're still a level down. But what I think they have done is I think they've really secured themselves, because they're one of those teams who, very capable of coming, 7th, possibly 6th, but with a few injuries could drop down to 13th or 12th. I think what they've done is they've really strengthened their hand at coming top 10, but I don't know that they've really signed players to move on. But it's hard because, they've signed Scamacca from Italy, and,
Do you know anything about it? Has anyone seen this young Italian play?
No, I mean, he was second top scorer, I think, in the Italian league last year, but
was it?
I can't say. I think he was. Yeah, I think he scored like 15, 20 goals. But
16. 16.
Is it 16? Year, but I can't say I watch Italian football very much, so I can't say I've seen him. But he could be good. But there's probably a 90% chance if he comes honestly from the Italian league into English football, he'll either take quite a long time to settle in, or he may not settle in. I mean, he's probably going to be another Rolando Bianchi, if we're honest.
I would say that. Yeah,
came with a similar profile, and even top strikers like Shevchenko and Crespo and things have come over the years and not done brilliantly. I mean, there's obviously been exceptions like Henry came. Bergkamp both came from Italian football, but admittedly only there a short time. But I think it's a gamble. So and I'm quite glad we're playing West Ham first up in a way, and that I think they're incredibly organised, incredibly focused, and that requires a lot of fitness and it requires a lot of mentality. And in a way, I think it's hard for them to be at their best. I mean, it will be for us as well, but I think they're a side who it will be hard for them to be at their best first up. I think they'll need to get their sharpness to really. So, I'd rather play them first up than a team who's a bit more gung-ho and, are going to have a real go at us and take a bit of a risk, etc. Because that might be more damaging if we're not fully fit and sharp.
Yeah, I mean, According to CMC, they're going to try and get Diallo for 40 million as well. I look at West Ham and I think, go back to January, they were trying to sign Calvin Phillips. And didn't they have a go at Darwin Núñez? Didn't they have a little pop just to say a little feeler out there? So, and I did say in January, I thought it was a bit of lip service from the owners. Because, and I've kind of not been proved right, because it's not about right and wrong, but how do you explain to a West Ham fan, in January, we're going for Calvin Phillips and Darwin Núñez, to Scamacca, and do you understand what I mean? There's levels. So I just think, and I've always said this about to break that top four, which I think, let's be honest, up until, was it March, West Ham had a very good shout at. I remember Rob and others on this channel saying that West Ham were an outside bet for fourth at one stage.
Yeah.
And sort of just, and maybe that's why they thought a Calvin Phillips and a Darwin Núñez would have took them to that final little bit of kick that they needed to get into it. But I just think, in a way, that top four is a bit of a closed shop unless you are willing to sign big checks. And I don't think West Ham owners are really going to do that. I really don't. And what makes it a little bit harder for me this year, they've got Europe now. Do not underestimate them being in Europe. I know they were in Europe last year, but it affected them in the league in the end.
Yeah, you got to remember, on Núñez, he was a striker who'd had half a good season in Portugal when West Ham tried to sign him in January. He only became the world's best striker after he signed for Liverpool. So, you can't think when West Ham were trying to sign Núñez, he wasn't the world's best striker. So you've got to remember. No, he wasn't. He was a player who'd had half a good season in Portugal.
I thought he'd been the world's best youngster since he was like 14, and
yeah. Well, no. After he left Liverpool's academy on loan to Benfica, he'd had half a great season. So, and Phillips, I think they went for Phillips from a Leeds who were going down, and they'd have probably still paid 55 million for Phillips in the summer. It's just once in April, Phillips had made his mind up. He was only going to City. So, unlike other players who've made up their mind they're going to City, we paid more than 50% of what the club wanted. So it was all good.
He's not letting this go at all.
No, he's on it. He's on it today.
He's not letting it go. He's got to be in his bonnet. And he's not going to let this go at the moment. We will come to it. I'm going to let you go on a little bit of a... This is not a rich rant, by the way. We may get a little bit of a rich rant if these WhatsApp messages or anything to go by. Well, actually, him and Ozzy have both been moaning little sods over the last 2 or 3 days, actually. They're not happy bunnies, either of them.
I think this...
Go on, later.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think the players in, players out, how West Ham have invested. Yeah, you can probably look at it and be like, owners haven't put that emphasis on being top four, and I would agree. I was actually surprised to learn of the number of players that they did. Mind you, they're not big names or big price tags, but to the point of what they were able to achieve last season, because again, they made it as far as the semifinals with Europa, right? So Europa. So I think the confidence now is, you know what, personnel wise, yeah, we've had players go, but I believe they may look at the core that they have to be able to have a similar pursuit. And could the expectation be to just remain around 5th, 6th for another year as a push before maybe investing more and going even further? Because core wise, they do look to be challenging, and us as a city, and I'm looking, we actually on paper have the hardest opening day because we're facing a top 7 team, And the
That's
success.
what I'm thinking, mate. I've been thinking, for me, I'm thinking it's a difficult game.
Yeah.
But I've heard the opposite of good time to play West Ham. Quite looking forward. And is that an expectation from us because of our signings and Haaland? Or is it a little bit of arrogance or confidence? That's what I'm not getting the it's going to be an easy game. I looked at that fixture and thought, ooh, that's not the easiest game to have on your opening day.
Yeah. It's a great test. It is a great test because we know that they're going to be organized and they're going to play good football. And as you said, maybe it's a good time to catch them, but I'm sure they're thinking now is a good time to catch City too, because 2 preseason games, a community shield, not really looking to fire on all cylinders. So it's going to be, I think it's going to be both teams trying to figure out how are we going to attack both. And for what I saw from them and how they were successful, again, not putting themselves out there, but really trying to attack us on the counter, I think we should expect the same. So I'm looking forward to seeing. Again, we don't know who the starting 11 is going to be, but I just want to see a nice, organized, we know how we want to attack them approach. And we'll get into that later in the stream, I'm sure.
Yeah, but I think, Martin, I'd say with it, I do think it's a good time to play them in the sense that, and it's kind of in the way last season playing Spurs first up. Spurs away is our worst fixture, but we were so unfit, so unready for last season.
Yeah.
We could have lost to Brentford at home on that first game, and because we lost Spurs away, in a way we didn't drop points because we'd have probably lost to them playing like prime Barcelona in February. So in a way we lost nothing by losing that game. But had we lost to Brentford at home, that would have been 3 points dropped and a real change to title. And so in a sense, you drop points at West Ham away. That could happen to you at any point in the season. And so it's not a disaster if you lose that game. If we were to play Fulham at home and we lost 3 points, that's 3 points lost. So in a sense, it's a slight swing compared to some other games that we have to win. And I do think playing West Ham when they're not fully on their game is a better bet than playing a newly promoted side who are just going for it, or someone, or playing a top 6 rival or top 4 rival, playing, imagine we're playing Liverpool or Chelsea or Tottenham and we gave away 3 points to them. You're actually losing 3 points to potentially a rival. So in that sense, I think it's a good fixture. And I do think that they will. I mean, I haven't paid that much attention to their pre-season, but I do think
apparently
be at their best.
They've not done very well.
They need to be on their game because to play, in a way, they often played what I'd call no mistake football and quite tight, quite solid, quite organised. You've got to be 100% fit and mentally sharp.
I'd say it's very narrow, Rich. I'd say they play narrow football.
And it's a big pitch to play narrow football on. Yeah. So I just think, compared to others.
Thought that. Sorry, one minute.
And I don't think they're the sort of team who, if they are, if you were playing a team who was 2 weeks further down the line and really fit and had a real run at you, intense game football style, I think again that would be harder than playing someone who's a bit more measured in their football. I think you could see the fitness difference between Liverpool and City last week, and because of the way Liverpool play in some ways, and I don't think we'll see that with West Ham. I don't think it's going to be easy. I don't think we're talking, City going to stroll away and win.
So you're not thinking of the 5-0 the last time on the opening day?
No, I'd be incredibly surprised.
I mean, the one thing I would say, it's really weird with football and football fans, let's be honest. Last week, City were crap, Haaland's a flop, and Liverpool were going to win the title by 100 points. We've gone a week. Liverpool have struggled to get anything down at Craven Cottage. And suddenly, you know what I mean? So this is what gets me with pre-season. You can't judge a season on pre-season whatsoever. You just can't do it. No. Because you don't know what's going on. Players are coming in. I still say, and we'll talk about it later on, is I don't think our transfer business is finished. I don't think it's anywhere near finished yet. Well, touch wood. I hope it's not, because I think every City fan here knows someone's put in the chat we're a bit undercooked at the moment in certain areas. So I think maybe the team you see tomorrow might not be the team that starts come September. I think you may see one or two different players, but I digress. Manchester City. Obviously, we got beat last week at Liverpool at Leicester, the King Power, against Liverpool. Did we learn anything going into tomorrow's game? Did see anything last week that makes you think, we're not ready at the minute? I'm expecting another Tottenham here.
I didn't go so far as to think that, but I definitely saw that match and said I've learned a lot. In particular, Mars and Grealish, with both of them with their style of play, with their control, with the ability to keep the ball to foot, fantastic. Never a problem. What I want though is for whether it's picked up on the training pitch, whether it's eating, whether it's having breakfast, eating lunch with Haaland or Alvarez, I just want those guys to get on the same page quick. Because what's happening is I'm seeing indecisiveness, and we get that. Obviously, they haven't played together much. There's only been 2 preseason games, but I want decisiveness from the two of them when the ball gets out there, because we have someone in the middle that's looking for it, that is working hard to show and be available. And I just didn't like how the ball kind of took time to move. It looked like they were half second off. They were looking to see what to do next, and I'm hoping that it's a lot more instinctful. And that if they do happen to start tomorrow, that's the only thing that I'm going to be sitting down yelling at the screen about, is like, make a quick decision. Make a quick decision. I just want to see that, because I think it puts the defense off balance. They can't set up. Okay.
Can I throw a question to you, Rich? And again, what Vate is saying. It's just something Vate just said there about quick. And then you go back to last week. Does having a number 9 slow us in terms of no, not slow us, sorry. What I mean is, if you go back to the false 9 we had, we always did pass, tick-a-tacker, pass out wide, pass out, and you always had, for example, Kevin De Bruyne would do, in a lot of fans' eyes, would sometimes do a pass too many. And if you go back to that Liverpool game, Haaland made a couple of runs, and De Bruyne and Mahrez did the exact same thing, and he got bypassed because he went to Mahrez. Is that force of habit and something we're going to have to accept over the next month or two, because they're sort of robotic? They're so robotic now of extra pass, and they've got a number 9 sat there going, all right, I'm ready. I've made the run, because I thought Haaland didn't know whether to go or stay last week, because he didn't.
I think it'll depend. Yeah, I think it'll depend on the players. I think De Bruyne will get used to it. I don't think he's going to be like that too much. I mean, I watch him for Belgium, and he's all about getting that ball in quickly, getting that ball to Lukaku. So I think he'll be fine. For me, the problem with Grealish, and it happened again a bit against Liverpool, and this also goes back to our problem at left back, where I think we're a Kyle Walker injury away from disaster at the moment. In moderate games, I think Stones can go and cover, and it's fine. But I do think that's a massive risk. But Grealish at the moment has spent way too much time at City hugging that left touch line, and as soon as he hugs that left touch line, he's been told not to lose the ball, so he doesn't risk anywhere near as often as he should trying to go around the outside of their right back and put a cross in. He cuts back inside, and then he brings the football back. And it's not that he's losing the ball or doing a disaster. It's just that an attack that goes down the left stalls. So either he's got to be told, you've got to play fearlessly, and you've got to start trying to go around the outside of that right back or cutting inside, taking a few more risks, and we lose the ball a bit more often. Or I think he's got to be playing a bit more inside, and he's got to have a fullback who overlaps him very often. So, because he's far more effective when he's slightly more central, and he has not been good in many games where he's been playing hard on that touchline. Whereas Mahrez can be great hugging the touchline. Mahrez is either having a good day or he's not having a good day, and it's not to do with the position. It's just whether he's on the opposition's right, whatever it is. But he has a lot of very good days. But I just don't see Grealish having good days hugging that left touchline. So therefore, we've got to get someone who can go outside him, and so he can be cutting in a bit and playing, because otherwise we're wasting money on him as well. That said, Foden, I think, has got the confidence, and I think he's a bit more prepared to do that sort of thing.
People, you just said there, and I'd come to get your thoughts on this. Do you not think it sped up and became more direct when Phil and Alvarez came on? As soon as you had Alvarez to the right, Phil to the left, there was a lot more directness. There wasn't that extra pass, or there didn't seem to be that extra pass. Maybe there was, but it was just more energetic. Because the one thing I would say, if you look at Mahrez and Grealish is quick sometimes. Mahrez is not quick. We know, like you've just said with Mahrez, you know what you're going to get. You're either going to get brilliance or you are going to get crap. There is no middle ground with Mahrez. Yeah. That is the most frustrating thing about the guy. He doesn't have a middle ground. He's good or he's bad. He's either going to have a blinder and score goals, or he's going to cut it on his left-hand side and run into traffic all day long and hit the first man.
Yeah,
he's so A to Z. So, and that's what I'm thinking is Alvarez and Foden, more pace, more energy, more everything.
Yeah, I think
anyway.
Yeah, no, I agree. When they were a lot more direct, and there was, I would just take away, there was one less pass when they were on the pitch, because they were forcing the issue and actually forcing the width and trying to get behind the defense. Foden can play he can do anything, right? He could take it wide. He can play 1-2s on the inside. Unfortunately, all that we're seeing from Grealish right now is he will hug that line, but he's coming inside on that right-hand foot. And when I was stressing, I just want to be quicker. I just want you to be quicker, is if you're going to cut it back on the right-hand foot, on your right foot, if you're looking for Haaland, great. If not, why isn't that going far post for Mahrez? Like, why isn't the entire pitch being attacked that way, as opposed to so much being played to foot? So I would love to see that happen on both sides now. If Mahrez is doing his dance, he's faking it on his left, dragging it back to his right, does it a few times. If he cuts it back on his left, if that's not going to Haaland, then it's going far post now for Grealish. I would like to see that type of pattern of play from us if those two are going to be starting. But we need them, obviously, everyone to be on the same page. Playing with the striker does require a little bit of rewiring in a sense. And to what you mentioned earlier, Rich, is even with regards to some of those quick transitions, it's a matter of Haaland knowing what channels he wants to attack or delay his run so that KDB finds him as well. And we'll get there. This is going to be such a good test, because I think that's kind of been part of the training this last week, because there's no better defense than Liverpool. That Community Shield after 2 preseason matches, regardless, that is a level setter for Alvarez, for Haaland to know this is the pace of the EPL. These are the best for defense or defensive system that you're going to face. So, hey, it gets a little easier from here.
Apart from training.
David Mack says here, mate, they've had 4 weeks off from internationals. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Until they return. Where's the fitness disappeared to in such a short time? Is that an unfair comment?
Well,
I'll hit the panic button after one bad performance in the Community Shield.
It depends which player you're talking about. I think we know where Jack Grealish's fitness went. You can't go.
You were with him in Las Vegas, didn't you go to Las Vegas?
Yeah. Oh no, sadly not. No, I mean, I think it's brilliant that in a way, I think it's brilliant that the fitness has gone, because I think these players mentally have been playing year after year after year with no break, and through COVID with no break. And I think they needed it. And, I think and people say, where's the fitness gone? Honestly, think about the level we were at Spurs last year. We were fitter than that against Bayern 2 weeks out from the season.
Yeah,
I mean,
we were
and
awful.
we couldn't even field more than about 4 true first team players in the Charity Shield last year. So whilst the fitness has gone a bit, I think we're actually probably fitter than we were at this stage last year. And I think mentally we will be hugely better off with having had a proper summer break.
Do you know what? It's weird though, isn't it? Because me and Vader talked about, you go back to that Bayern Munich game, we were waxing lyrical about the pace, the decision, the movement. Grealish was man of the match, and we were waxing lyrical about everything. A week later, we're crap. Forget it. We're done. We need another 15 games. It's like, if we were going up pre-season, we'd give the Rags the title now.
No, you'd give Arsenal the Arsenal.
Gabriel Jesus has turned into prime Ronaldo 9. Do you know what I mean? Scoring hat-tricks every game. And then today goes back to being Gabby Jesus again.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone's watched the Arsenal game, but yes, it was exactly the same Gabby that we got at Manchester City, where it was lots of work rate, but couldn't finish his dinner. So it's pre-season. It's all pre-season for a reason.
Do you know what? I think there's going to be a lot of Mickey taking later on in the season of the celebrations. I have to say, I've never seen celebrations at a Community Shield like it. I've never seen.
That was next level.
The FA Cup, it was like they'd won the World Cup. It was just unbelievable. I've never seen a player scoring in a Community Shield and then going and shushing. Well, shushing, taking shirts off, shushing the fans. I mean,
and does a lot for Roma.
And maybe that points to why they're always the bridesmaids, because their mentality is that, Community Shield's their level. We're going to go nuts celebrating a Community Shield because that's our level. I don't know. But if I was Klopp, I'd have gone ballistic at the players for that sort of attitude.
Did you hear that today?
Yeah. Well, I think they must have wandered up thinking they're going to win 20-0 as Community Shield champions. And, one team in the last decade, one team has won the Community Shield and the title in the same season. And that was obviously us. But it's like a kiss. The Community Shield's a kiss of death.
Yeah.
I always remember that derby in the Community Shield when we got beat 3-2 when we were 2-0 up at half time. And we went and won the league. So it was, and United fans were jumping for glory and everything else. And it's like, come on. And that was remember the year we did the Aguero moment? That was it. We'd come back off the FA Cup. We were 2-0 up against the Rags, flying. Edin Dzeko and Lescott scored. We're thinking, hey, look at us. United fans are getting the tube home because they didn't need to get a coach. They got a tube. And then we got beat 3-2 and we were all like, it's over, forget it, we're getting relegated. So it's just, come on. It's pre-season.
Yeah.
The only time I've ever seen us do anything in the Community Shield was the Chelsea game at Villa Park where we played outstanding.
But no, I think that's going to come back and haunt them because honestly, you think it was a balmy night in Barcelona or Istanbul with those celebrations.
Yeah. Was you going to say something, Vay? I'm just going to get something up. Someone's asked a question about the ref tomorrow.
Yeah, as you look for that, I was just going to say,
our friend, as I remember, isn't it Mr. Oliver tomorrow? I think it's Mike Oliver, and I understand that the thing is the VAR at Stockley Park, Mike Dean.
I don't have that detail.
Why has everyone just jumped to Twitter all of a sudden because CMC's put that in the chat? Why has everyone jumped to Twitter? What's going on here?
Uh-oh.
No idea.
CMC, Barcelona side, they're working on a move. Listen, okay.
Oh, we're going to get into it?
We've talked
All right.
West Ham, we've talked City. Let's get into it, and then we'll come back to West Ham because I know this is what people just divert to this now. So we might as well get it out of the way. And it's I thought it was Michael Oliver tomorrow. I will double check that then, CMC. Okay, Pep's quotes. I will get them up for you.
Pep, I don't think you even need to get Pep's quotes up. Pep's
I
quotes
can do,
same,
because it sent everyone into meltdown yesterday.
His quotes for the same as it last summer and the same as the summer before and the same as they'll always be. He's never going to say anything different. And
to put it bluntly, if we get the offer and they're not happy, he'll go. That was what I read into it. If we get an offer that is good enough for us, we'll sell.
Yeah, and that's, and if I win the lottery, I'll buy a Ferrari.
Right. But all right then, so why are Barcelona?
Actually, no, I tell a lie, I wouldn't. But anyway. Yeah.
But how are they working on a deal when they can't this is what I don't get. This is like me going to a Bugatti Veyron and sticking in and going, I fancy a Bugatti Veyron. Me going to the dealership, me sitting down with the guy, me having a test drive, I start working out my figures, I send in my bank statements, and just as I'm about to get to the point of sale, I go, sorry, I ain't got the money. What's a Barcelona doing?
Yeah.
What is this? Is this time waste? Time? Or what are they doing?
Well, no, I think there's a couple of things. I think, they clearly, until about 3 days ago, thought they'd already met the requirements to get all their players registered. And somehow they were about 160 million euros out, or 170 million euros out. Now,
only
that could be because they had the same accountants we did when we thought we passed FFP and we were 110 million out. So I mean, could be that. But so they're out. So now, so a few days ago they thought, well, we'll register these, and then they're thinking that means we're in the shape. So what they then have to do is they have to then go and raise, let's say 80. If we're saying Bernardo's £80 million or whatever, they then have to go and sell players for £80 million and free up enough money to pay his wages. Now they've got to go and sell something for 200 million, pay 50 off, and then they're in the position they thought they were already in. So they're going to have to go and sell Barca their licensing company. They have a licensing company. They'll go and sell them and they'll get about 200 million. And then they will desperately be this week trying to persuade Depay and Braithwaite and Aubameyang that if they go on a free, you go without any bonuses or any salary payoff. And then they'll be working on De Jong. If they sell their licensing company, they get Aubameyang, Depay, Braithwaite out the club without paying them a penny. If they get their existing players to agree to continue their wage deferrals, and Martin Braithwaite's apparently, threatening to take them to court, and if they then find someone who's going to pay 80 million for De Jong and pay for De Jong's 20 million wages they owe him, if all those things happen, then possibly, if City accepted 80 million and Bernardo accepted a bit of a wage cut, they could get him. But it's about 10 things that have to happen. And that's if City agree to it, in 3 or 4 weeks' time, which is what it will be by the time they've got organised. Now, to me, that's a whole long list of things because City should be saying, no, if it's not done by August the 1st, we're not selling anyone. And B, I don't know that Barcelona can make all those things happen because they still need a left back. They are probably going to have to pay De Jong 20 million to leave, and they've got a whole series of other things. So can it happen? Possibly, but is it unlikely to? But why are they talking about it if it's unlikely to happen? Well, they're Barcelona. They've got a populist politician running the club who has to sound like he wants to make them the best team in Europe next year. And it's going to be, doing absolutely everything to try and do it. And the irony and the hard thing one of the hard things for Barcelona is if Barcelona come in and say, we want to give you 65 million, it sounds like PSG will come in and say, well, if that's 65, we'll give you 90, because PSG don't believe he wants to come, but they would want him over just about any other player. So there's such a long series of events. I'm not convinced it will happen.
Oh, later, where are you at with it? Because what's annoying me here is, and it is true, I've just looked, Fabrizio has said in his latest, I think it was on his Twitch stream, that Barcelona and Bernardo Silva are working on deals. The thing that's going to hold this all up is a fee. Now, I've got a question to you. Why is Bernardo talking to Barcelona?
This is the thing that bothers me the most. This is the thing
Why is he talking to him?
This is what's killing me, though. It's not the fact that he was talking, and this has been something that we've all known for seasons now, is one thing. And obviously him being a City player, him putting in a shift, we never question him. He's always played for the badge. But the fact that whether it's his agent, whether it's him, things are being discussed now. Even how cagey Pep's comments were that if the right figure comes in, the club's going to make it happen, isn't settling. It's worrisome. And I'm now wondering who could possibly be the replacement for Silva. It's not Gundogan. It's not Foden. It's not Grealish. What is going to be the gap filled for a Silva exit?
I think it's Jude Bellingham, but I don't think we're planning that to happen until next year.
Yeah. So exactly. So my point is, all this is being discussed, speculated. If something were to happen, then it would be thank you, move on. But for this season, I don't understand how it's to make sense for us to be whole and pursue the goals that we have. Now, I wish that it would just be kind of like because of this point in the season where we're at, does not make sense for him to go, regardless of what deal comes through. Because this has me now worried, I'll be honest with you guys, with the January transfer window. So, okay, nothing happens in the fall. I'm still going to be like, what if now when January transfer window comes around? Because of what's been expressed, if the right offer comes through, they'll make it happen.
Well, Pat did mention January in his press conference, didn't he? Which I found surprising because he doesn't normally do.
Yeah, there's a World Cup though, and it just changes.
Yeah, I know. Probably
whole
think they can get more deals done where they've got more time to get it done. But it's like, Alan, I don't know why he's called himself Whitefield Blue, but Alan here has put Bernardo is not talking to them. No, Alan, Bernardo Silva is not talking to Barcelona. Rich, can you explain to Alan what is going on? Nothing to do with Bernardo talking to him. Bernardo is not on the phone to Barcelona having a chinwag.
To be honest, George Mendes and Laporta are leaking stories.
There you go.
And both of them are doing it completely professionally. Whether it can happen or not, I've said I'm very doubtful. I'm starting to wonder whether Barcelona will be able to actually play Lewandowski and Rafinha, on the first day of the season, because I think they are, and I can't believe the fans at Barcelona are supporting their president doing what he's doing to that club, because Barcelona and I'm starting to wonder if there's some kind of duplicity going on where there's teams with Middle Eastern owners trying to deliberately fold Barcelona so that one of them can buy them out of administration in a year's time, because it's crazy. And if the biggest crime will be and Leeds have done this, is anyone who's sold Barcelona, anyone on the never, like we did with Torres, pay it over 5 years, because if Barcelona go into administration, clubs might only get 20% of what they've sold players for. Because once they're in administration, all that will happen is Barca's remaining assets will be shared amongst their creditors. And, it would be criminal. So, even if we were going to think of selling Bernardo, and even if Barcelona somehow managed to do these 101 things, I'd want cash up for no bonuses for extra stuff, no payment over 4 years. We want the cash in the bank. And when we've got it in our bank account, we've withdrawn it, we've counted the notes, and we've put it in a vault somewhere, then you can have the player. And if any club who does any deal with them on the never, I'd have a clause in it that says if one payment is missed by so much as 1 minute, you forfeit the registration back to us. So if you sell him and he goes for 20 million on 4 seasons, you miss 120 million payment, we get him back for free. Even if you've paid us 60 million, 40 million, 20 million, it comes back to us for free, and you still owe us the money, because it's got to be dealt with.
I agree with you, Rich.
Yeah.
And that was a lovely speech, but the club won't do that.
We're too nice to Barca.
That isn't what we do. We won't sit there, iron fist, and go, we want all the money up front like Bayern Munich did.
Well,
we will.
But we've never.
Rich, we're going to a bloody charity game in 3 weeks' time to play him in a charity game for what? They're backhanding, trying to get our star midfielder out the door, and we're off for a charity game.
Well, we're not even talking about we're not even talking about the real story of the press in the last few days about Barcelona and City, and I was a bit disappointed no one asked Pep this, but at the press conference, but the story that's been running 4 or 5 of the European papers, that a Barcelona director said to UEFA, basically asked them who was making the decision, and made the comment, who would we have to pay so that City get banned from the Champions League? That's been published in 6 or 7 European newspapers. Sorry, City and PSG. So that's true. Barca actually proactively, someone there. And now that was probably under Bartomeu's regime, and they hated Pep and Soriano and stuff. So, there is a change of guard. But
4 weeks ago, Pep sat in the Camp Nou with all his little friends, smiling happily away, going, we're going to play a charity game, answering questions about Bernardo Silva. I'm sorry. Yeah, I hate them to bits. But Ferguson would never have done that. I think Ferguson would sit there with Real Madrid and go, what was the Ferguson famous line that he said about Real Madrid? Can anyone remember?
No.
Am I showing my age here?
I never listened to him.
I wouldn't sell them. I wouldn't sell that lot a cold. And we're off for a charity event while they're openly unsettling our midfielder.
Yeah. No, well, you know what? Are they unsettling our midfielder, or is our midfielder twerking at them? And let's be honest. I think a lot of City fans, we all love Bernardo. We all love him. He's one of the all big favourites of this current team. But honestly, I think we're all. If this was a player people didn't like as much, we'd be blaming the player. And at the moment, Bernardo gets off scot-free. He's twerking. His agent is driving this even more than Barcelona. Because Barcelona, there's 100 great players at top teams out there who Barcelona would love to sign and would strengthen their team. They're not doing this at any of the others. Why? Because the others didn't want to go. They're doing it at the players like Lewandowski and Bernardo, who have been twerking at them. So I think we've got to be a bit less naive, stop blaming everything on Barca, and put 50% of the blame on Bernardo. And we may love him, but he could, in one 10-second phone call to his agent, stop half the rumours. He could then go on one interview and stop all the rest of the rumours. But he's doing it. So, we've got to accept. And I'm not saying he's doing it for money or the wrong reasons. He has clearly, for over 2 years, wanted to go back to the Mediterranean, wanted a different lifestyle and all that sort of thing. But in some ways, I'd rather he just came out and said, I really want to go. I'm homesick. Be honest about it.
Calvin, yeah, exactly, Rich, but I don't get F off.
Yeah, well, I'd never say that because I love the guy and I think he's a huge loss
Rich
to our
is saying
team
it
if
in
he
a
goes.
nice way, basically.
Yeah.
F off nicely.
There is a way that we want him to conduct himself, and it's gone to the point where it's starting to irk us as City fans. We don't want this talked about continuously. We don't want the
2 years.
This is
2 years now.
We don't want to continuously hear if the right offer comes, he's easily going. Like, we don't want to hear that as fans. So I am going to do my best just to ignore it, but I know it's there because I think it's going to come up again and again. And unfortunately, if the right offer comes through, and could that offer be 80 million, 100 million? Does it even matter whether it's coming from Barcelona or is it from I don't know who else could afford it, but if it's coming from La Liga, does he go? Because it's a lifestyle that he wants changed. I don't know necessarily if it has to be Barcelona, but this window I want it to end. Oh my gosh, it started off so magnificently. So good, guys. The announcement, the Holland, everything was so tied so well together. Alvarez, Ortega, and how they were presented to the world and presented to City fans. We were all loving it. Now, for the window to continue on and for it to get to this point, I just want it over with. I want the transfer window over with, and then let me deal with the stress again.
No, what left?
No, sorry.
We need a left
Yeah,
back.
you're right.
You
You're
get a
right.
left back first, then you can shut the window.
And I also
I'm
think
shutting it now, mate.
Yeah, I also
Okay, you're
think
right.
we should get on the front foot and we should go and sign it. We've got 3 or 4 gaps in the squad. I think we should get on the front foot and go and sign his replacement now. And then even if we don't sell him, he might get fewer games next season. But I think we've got to get on the front foot. I think we cannot be reacting. We cannot be in a situation where in the last couple of weeks we are, beholden to a club to agree something. I mean, admittedly, Brighton proved themselves completely right, but the same thing happened in a way with, I don't disagree with selling Zinchenko for Zinchenko's sake. He deserved to go. It's right for him to go. He deserves to be playing 38 Premier League games a season. And, can we get a better left back defensively? Probably we can. Is he ever going to be good enough to play attacking midfielder for us? Probably not. But what I'm saying with Bernardo, you're not going to replace him. So I think we've got to firstly tell Bernardo, well, you cannot leave unless we've already replaced you. And to me, I'd replace him a season before we allow him to go, because I'd actually, I think even Bellingham will need a season to fit in. And we're going to lose next season. We are going to lose Bernardo. We are going to lose probably Gundogan, unless we change our mind and think because Bernardo wants out, we're going to keep Gundogan.
How old's Gundogan? Is he 33?
Is he 32, I think? But isn't Kev 31 now as well? So we've got a lot of work. We've got a lot of work to do.
KDB's a year older.
Yeah. So I think we need to go out and sign an attacking midfielder now, not let Bernardo go, and actually be stronger in that area.
Say his name.
Who?
I know the guy you want.
I'd go for Bellingham. I think he's yeah. But and yes, Dortmund don't want to sell him now, but I'm sure if you chucked an extra 10 or 20 million on top, they probably would.
2 reasons why I agree with you. 1, he's a great football player. 2, it'd piss the Scousers off.
And he's young. He's young. I think that he's young. He's very talented. He's English. He's got the qualities we need. I think it'd be great for him. I'd be great for him to sign him. But I just think we've got to be a bit firmer. And there is this thing at City, and it's one of our great strengths as a team that we don't hold people against their will. So we generally have one of the happiest, most motivated squads. But, you know, at some point, we can't let people do, you know, it's all right when Gabby J or, you know, Sterling or whatever go because they want to go and it's early in the season and early in the pre-season. We know that we're planning to bring Palmer in or we've already signed the replacement. That's one thing. Letting Bernardo go in the last 2 weeks of the transfer window would just be stupid.
Yeah. Right. We're going to move back to the West Ham in a minute. We'll go through lineups, predictions for the game. Before we do that, do I even go down this road? Do I do it? Left back. I'm going to do it. Let's open that can of worms. I don't want to go into the Cucurella mess. I don't think we need to go into because the Cucurella is quite a simple thing. They wanted a stupid amount of money. We said no. And I don't care what anyone says. I know you don't agree with it, Rich, but 62 million was pathetic. 62 million was madness for a guy who's played 9 minutes of international football. Because then you're setting a precedent for yourself where anyone will just charge us anything.
Do you know what though? I bet you we'd have got him for about 45 had we.
No, we wouldn't have done, Rich.
No, I bet you we would. I think, you know, we had inside. No other club was interested in.
You're not Tony Bloom.
He was signing for City, and I reckon Tony Bloom's a computer, you know, a poker player, and I reckon he absolutely played City, and then he played Chelsea, and you know, it's probably like the day when we offered, the story is we offered $1.5 million for Keith Curl, and Sam Herman burst out laughing because he thought he'd get about $500,000 for him, and kind of
ended up paying $2.5 million for Phelan.
And said $1.5 million. Like he was about to bite our hand off, and our negotiator promptly goes, "Oh, we'll give you two."
No, didn't we pay $2.5? We paid $2.5 for Keith Curl and $2.5 for Terry Phelan, didn't we? Yeah. Sam and Man must have thought, Jesus Christ, we're loving this. I'm getting $5 million out of this lot.
Good players, but I think at the time, Phelan was the most expensive fullback in history, and Curl was the most expensive centre back in British football history. It was nuts. But I think at the beginning of the window, Brighton probably thought I will get about 40, 45 or something for him. We came in with an insulting 30 million. I don't care what you say he's worth. He's worth miles more than 30 bloody million. And
I agree. I agree with you.
Brighton publicly say we want 50, and Chelsea come in, just go, we'll give you 50 then. And he's thinking, well, if you're going to give me 50 that easily, well, I'm going to ask for 60. So, fair play. He's done well. We looked a bit stupid. Chelsea probably overpaid, but
for sure.
Chelsea
Cucurella's lifelong dream of playing fast, free-flowing football for Pep turned out to be a lifelong dream to move and play organised, clinical football for Tuchel. And who would have known? He must have just woken up and his dreams just changed.
You know what Chelsea remind me of? They remind me of these drunken men. And you always get some are like, looking at the ladies or the men or whatever, and they're going, and they want to do a bit of flirting. And then you get the one drunken idiot, mate, who comes up and slaps his bottle of champagne down with credit cards and go, I'll buy you whatever you want, love. That is Chelsea. Sit here in the corner doing a bit of flirting, a little bit of this. And Chelsea just come in with a credit card and a bottle of champagne and can't buy it.
I bet you did. I bet you didn't think you'd be getting, Saturday night lessons in, the ladies from Michael, did you?
These analogies are perfect. Life lessons I'm picking up right here.
No, that's Chelsea are so scattergun this window. It's unreal, but that's for another day, another show. Will we get a left back?
But back to the point, we have to get a left back. There are rumours that Pep's actually a bit pissed off himself about us being a couple of players light. So whilst he says he wants a small squad, to me, the more he says that, the more he's probably saying the opposite, in the quiet. I actually think I'd prefer we sign a midfielder and a fullback. But we're one injury from Kyle Walker away from disaster because, one thing that's absolutely clear to me last season is that I actually, I rate, Cancelo more than most, and I think he's a very good footballer. But I don't rate him when Kyle Walker's not playing, because the way City play, you get that two centre backs, and you get the right back, Walker covering as a third centre back with pace, and Cancelo's defensive, limits don't hurt us. But when we saw, say, Cancelo and Zinchenko, and I rate Zinchenko as a better defender than Cancelo, if not necessarily a better footballer, but when we had those two, we just felt really suspect because no one was there to compensate for Cancelo's weaknesses. So we need to go and sign a fullback. Now, I actually think in a way we probably need two fullbacks, but maybe I'm not giving Wilson Isbrand credit, because I think we need another defensive fullback who can cover for Walker. And I also think we need a left-footed fullback who can go wide down the flank, put in crosses, and actually free up Jack Grealish. So
Rich,
we've got a lot of.
I'm going to bring Vader in a minute, but I've got to give me 1 second, Vader. I'm just going to give Rich a little bit of a lesson.
Champagne,
Stop
ladies,
saying Wilson bloody Esbrand. Have you watched Pep Guardiola in 6 years? One idiot player. One.
Martin, listen. I'm talking about him as a fourth, as signing someone, and Wilson Isbrand being fourth. I think we actually possibly need two fullbacks, not one.
No, in City we'll buy two left backs and loan Esbrand out on deadline day.
Well,
that's what we'll probably do.
If we sign two good left backs, and have Cancelo and Walker fighting for right back, I'm not going to be complaining.
No, I mean, they are.
Yeah.
Can you see City doing 2 or 3 deals in the next 3 weeks? Because I don't ever see us doing 2 or 3 deals at the same time.
For how we've moved in this transfer window, I don't see it. Unfortunately, I see us getting one more signing, and I think it's a left back, and I think it's because this damn ability to use the versatility of our team. We're gonna get a left back that's going to be true left-footed, and I think he's going to be the one to mentor Esbrand and to be the consistent one, even though he's going to be new to the squad. Cancelo has the versatility to cover on that left side, but he really should be on that right side between him and Walker. That needs to be a proper rotation.
Pardon me? He can be left back.
He can play left back, but
I'm happy with Cancelo and Walker.
Yeah, I am too.
Back in the changing room. Because that's what I'd bloody do with him.
The thing is, but if so, rotation wise, Cancelo and Walker, great, because they'll allow each other to actually get some rest throughout the season. But when they both have to play, we do as a team now. This is where it becomes a challenge, because now they're not covering for each other, and now if one does get hurt, we're screwed, because Walker hurt, Cancelo is going to be on that right hand side. Versatility wise, maybe we're going to have to lean on Stones like we did last season, but it's not ideal. And then a true footed left back to come to the squad, I think, gives us what we need, and then frees up some of the limitations we have on offense, because Grealish with a right-footed player left back, they both occupy the same space. It's not good football. It's not fluid. It doesn't provide balance. And we need that to be different.
Alan, don't spam, please. Thank you. Carry on,
no, fair. But I think we're only getting one left back. I think we're only getting one signing for the rest of this transfer window. Yes, we keep our information close to the vest. Even some of the little secrets and spills that come out, you guys would have heard it. You haven't. And I think that's just a sign that we're going to replace Zinchenko eventually, It didn't happen with Cucurella. Do we look back in hindsight to be we should have secured Cucurella before even announcing that Zinchenko was on his way out? That's a conversation maybe on another stream, but we need a left back. That is the priority. That is what we need to do. All the other talk that we talked about, the Silva and all that stuff earlier, I don't want to hear about it. I want to hear about a Zinchenko replacement. Because this season that we're pursuing, guys, this three-peat that we have in our grasp, that we have the ability to go after, we need to have the depth. We can't go into it with we hope you can learn on the job. We need the proper depth to do it.
Yeah, because I agree, and you know, the other thing is I actually think we're going to see John Stones a bit at fullback this year. I really do. He's actually not done badly, and I think we keep winning whenever he does it. But I think we are going to see that. And I think maybe that's one thing that will give us a bit more cover as that fourth fullback. But
Yeah.
you know, I tend to agree with him. I don't think we can. You know, if there was a slight chance that we sold Bernardo, I don't think we can go into a season without replacing him. I mean, the amount of minutes he plays, you know, there really is no choice in that.
There's
midfield.
no way, Rich, we can do a Bernardo replacement on the left back in 3 weeks.
Well, we've got no
I've
choice.
not ever seen evidence.
Then we can't.
Then
we can't sell Bernardo.
Yeah,
Well,
and that's what I mean. I
evidence.
don't think we will sell Bernardo.
We've seen evidence that we could close Ruben Diaz in about 15 minutes, and we closed Laporte in 15 minutes when we made up our mind to do it. So we can do it, whether we will, but we cannot. Bernardo's minutes are huge. His role is huge.
His leg work is.
And we cannot lose those minutes in midfield. Even if we say, oh yeah, well, Gundogan can play a bit more and Calvin Phillips can play a slightly different role, we still need those minutes in midfield. And the fact that we let McAtee, who maybe could have played 10 or 15 games and given some of that, the fact that we let him go on loan says to me that we don't think Bernardo's going.
But that's why I don't have. Listen, I'm not going on to Espan because I think he's crap. Espan looks a very promising youngster, but that's why I don't have the faith in the Espan, because we were told for 2 months McAtee was going nowhere.
Yeah,
was never even going on loan.
Yeah.
And now he's on loan.
Yeah, and
so
we can't.
That hurt me.
Yeah, it's the same. All I've been told is Cole Palmer, McAtee, Delap, all this. We saw Rico Lewis against Bayern Munich. Can anyone tell me an EDS player that played against Liverpool in the Community Shield? No one.
Phil Foden.
He's been a facetious little son down there.
Yeah, but
that's my point, Rich. And you know, that's been my point for 2 years.
Yeah.
All last season, I said this EDS is my frustration.
And the other thing is that is, you know, crystal clear at the moment is Pep saying, "Oh, we've got Ake, you know, left back." Well, we haven't, because Laporte is not going to be available for a month or, you know, easily be 6 weeks before he's back up to speed.
Yeah.
So that leaves us short at centre back. So therefore, to be honest, Ake's going to get games. He's going to get quite a few games in the next 6 weeks, but they're all going to be at centre back. So, yeah, that's got to happen. And maybe what is going to happen if Bernardo goes is De Jong comes to City, and maybe that is the only way it happens, and maybe that's the only way City can agree to it. And we obviously think Bernardo's worth more, and Barcelona wanted money on top, but maybe if Barcelona give up 40 million, that's what happens.
That makes sense. Because if anyone remembers when Pep Guardiola first came to the football club, De Jong, when he moved to Barcelona from Ajax, we were in the mix. We weren't in the mix. We were talking. We just couldn't get the fee agreed. He wanted to go to Barcelona. So Frankie De Jong is someone Pep Guardiola has wanted for a long time. Now, if that's a deal that maybe could suit all parties. That's two birds, one stone. I don't know. But for me, I'm going to ask you the same question. I just simply think it will be a left back, and that's it. Window closed till possibly January. Because I've never heard Pep talk about January specifically like he did yesterday. He actually said, we'll see in January. Pep's never, ever done that. We're not a club that buys in January. We never really have done. We've done the occasional loan and when they first came in, but we haven't really gone out and spent in January.
Didn't we sign Laporte in January?
Yes, but that was from 12 months earlier, Rich. So I'm talking about we've never really gone out and been winter buyers. We just don't get involved in the winter.
Yeah, I think everyone has to be open to it this year though, because players are going to get injured at the World Cup, and so players are going to be exhausted. So I think every club has to be open to a different way of doing things. Yeah, and if we closed the transfer window, we sign a left back who's a good left back in the next week, and we close the transfer window with Bernardo staying, I'd take it now.
Yeah, that's fair. I think the January transfer window, why it's also going to be very interesting is because a lot of players are actually auditioning. Like you're going to see them with their international play, and rather than wait until the summer for maybe everyone competing to get said athlete, maybe there would be the opportunity to kind of get some athletes quick, based off of the early performance that's seen in international play. So it's going to be a tricky one.
We need our Karol Poborski.
Everyone's looking him up now in the chat. Who's he? Right, no, I'm joking. Right, so we all think there's possibly going to be a left back then.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say who. Alan was like, who before? I'm not a clairvoyant. We don't know. Because, like Veta said earlier on, it was an excellent point. There's not really been any links. There's been Grimaldo and Sousa, but there's not been any strong. There's been rumours. I think what you're getting at the minute is agents throwing their clients at us rather than us going to the clients. We're getting people throwing their clients at us, really, at the minute. Oh, you need a left back, bang, go, my client's available. I think you're getting a lot of that. Okay, let's go back to, so, I mean, listen, we will do a stream on the transfer window thing. I think we'll do an analysis at the end, can't we, Rich? Overall,
I mean, we've still got 4 weeks to go.
3 or 4 weeks left. Things can change. Stop, Veta. You're making me nervous.
It's hurting me, man.
Right. Let's go back to West Ham then. Lineups. Is everyone presuming Edison? Are we all saying Eddie?
Yep.
Yeah.
No one wants to throw in Ortega for a nice debut?
Not yet.
I think you can. I think the only question is that I think we know Cancelo and Walker will start. We know Diaz will start. I think the only question is whether it's Stones or Ake, because of what happened pre-season. I mean, normally it would be Stones and Diaz without a question, but Ake's played 3 games, and so I'd go Stones and Diaz, but I wouldn't be massively surprised if we see Ake Diaz because of pre-season, but I don't know.
Yeah, I probably think that
I'd go Stones.
Probably self.
But I think the other 4. I think Edison, Cancelo, Walker, Diaz, they were probably written on the team sheet about 2 weeks ago. But I'd like to see Stones.
Anything different from that back line from you?
No, I think it's going to be a repeat of what we saw. So Cancelo, Walker for sure. I think it's going to if Stones is healthy, if he's cleared, I do think that Ake gets a rest. I think it'll be a Diaz and Stones, because that's probably the partnership that Pep would want to see more often than not until Laporte comes back. So it'd be good to see them play, but it'd have to be a healthy Stones.
Does Stones or Foden get affected because of the jab situation?
I think they did for that Community Shield. I think that's what we saw. I think, Pep makes you serve your penalty, makes you serve your time. I don't think it's going to continue for the first game of the season. I think if the team that he wants to play is the team that he's going to want, and I don't think he's going to hold that over those two with regards to the jab.
The only reason I ask is because, and for anyone goes, where's this coming from? Mine, Pep sadly lost his mother to COVID. And if anyone noticed, I think it was yesterday or the day before, there was a charity event that Pep was at or something, and he's put on it, "This is for you, Mum." So there's still a lot of hurt and emotion there over this COVID situation. And he may think Foden and Stones are being silly boys. That's their personal opinion. That's what they want to do. Like Foden was out having an argument with his missus on the beach. That's up to them. It's not something I would allow Foden to keep doing, but hey, please don't keep having arguments with your girlfriend on the beach in front of people with camera phones. My God, that lad's not learning at the moment, is he? He just won't learn that there's camera phones all about this world, and Phil Foden just wants to keep showing everyone what's going on. Right, so Rodri or Calvin Phillips is CDM or anyone else? Are we playing the usual formation?
Yeah.
Or is it a curveball of anything here?
Well, that there could be a curveball, but I can't see.
As in what?
I would think
Three at the back?
Well, imagine what we'd do if we see Phillips and Rodri both on
Mate,
the
he's
team
having
sheet
an
just
attack up
before
there
the game.
three at the back.
I don't know why you're bringing that up. Why?
Yeah.
No, don't do that.
Wait till I'm on your show. Wait till I'm on your show talking about that.
Not the first game. No, please.
To be fair, we play three at the back about 85 minutes of about 33 of our 38 Premier League games anyway. It's just, starts with four and one of them buggers off into midfield for the entire game. I'd say I think Rodri starts without any doubt. I think Rodri's 100% starting. There's just a little bit of me that thinks that we're going to get the team sheet and we're going to see Rodri and Phillips both on it or something like that. That really throws a curveball.
Just don't say what that's called, Rich. I'm not doing basketball. Ronnie says here the boy's from Edgeley. He'll never learn. Oh dear. Rodri, Ozzy's gone for Rodri, Bernardo, KDB. Anyone got anything different on that?
I mean, that's what I'd start.
Yeah.
Better.
I got no changes to that. They
so
write
Calvin
themselves.
Phillips is on the bench.
Yeah.
Has anyone been surprised he's hardly played at all, and that even includes pre-season so far?
I am
We've
surprised.
not really seen him.
With regards to the preseason, 100%, and I was surprised at the point, and I think we might have joked about this when we had talked, is that Calvin didn't even come on to replace Rodri. He came on and played in defense. So,
he came on and went centre back.
Yeah, so I was very surprised.
That's why we're not buying a left back, because Calvin Phillips.
Oh no.
Well, I tell you what, after
Delph, I was joking.
Delph and Zinchenko, no, I wouldn't joke about after Delph, Zinchenko, and everyone else. It's entirely possible with Calvin Phillips becomes our left back, and then he slots into midfield. We won't even need Rodri playing. Then we'll be able to go Bernardo, Gundogan, and De Bruyne, and Calvin Phillips will slot into that role from left back. It's a whole extra player.
The season.
You just look at Vega's face. He's gone. He's finished.
Yeah.
You just put Phillips to left back. He's done with it.
Premature grays are coming in. I can feel it.
His beard's gone bright white out the shot because the horror of that notion.
I'm stressing over here, guys. We got to keep it simple. We got to keep it simple. Run the same midfield as last week. Now
Ronnie's back.
the front three. I'm curious to what you guys think for the front three.
Who would we pick, or who do we think?
Thank you, Adam. Appreciate that, mate.
Who would you pick? Who would you pick?
I'll go first very
Yep.
quickly because I want away from you two, not me. I'd go with Alvarez, Foden, Haaland.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll do that though.
Yeah. I would love that as well, but I don't think he would because of the two youngsters playing them together.
He'll go with Mahrez and Grealish. I think Foden goes on the bench.
I think he's going to go with
in naughty corner at the moment.
I think he's going to go with Foden and Grealish. And I think Foden's the start.
Mahrez.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or maybe he'll go Foden Mahrez, but I think Foden will start, and I think it will be. I think Grealish, but maybe it'll be Foden on the left, Mahrez on the right. Yeah, that's possible, but I think Foden will start.
Well, Ozzy's gone Foden, Haaland, Mahrez. CM's got Alvarez, Haaland, Grealish. Right, so you got Foden.
Okay.
Foden, Haaland, Alvarez. So nobody's not playing Haaland.
Yeah.
Or what about Phillips and Rodri, and then a three of De Bruyne, Bernardo, and no, this is what's going to happen. It's Pep. He's going to get all excited. He's going to play He's going to play Phillips and Rodri, and then he's going to have Bernardo, De Bruyne, and Foden playing behind Haaland, and no width at all.
Right? Can Ozzy get a piece of paper out and a pen and write all these, permutations down, please? Somebody, Ozzy, come on.
You'd have to change it every 10 seconds.
Joint owner, D-Job, come on. Ozzy's got a pen and paper now. Patrick's put with Haaland, Alvarez, it'll be one of the other, not both starting. That's interesting. Does anyone see that happening, that little permutation there of Haaland and Alvarez, but never together?
I think.
No, I think they can play together. I think Alvarez can play in that left forward or right forward role. I think he looks like he could play anywhere. But we need to keep him fit, because if Haaland doesn't play, we need Alvarez. So I don't think we'll overplay him wide, but I think we can.
Yeah. I would say we wouldn't see both of them start maybe for like 5-6 games. Like I think we know Pep wants to see them do things so instinctively and routinely that I think later in the season we might see that that start with the two youngsters, but not now.
I think someone needs to tell Ronnie that we've had a transfer window, mate. Yes, we know he's been signed. And then here comes Mr. Baker, Grealish, Bradbury, and Sinclair. Which Sinclair?
Trevor or
Scott Sinclair? Is that Scott Sinclair or Trevor Sinclair? Which Sinclair is he throwing out there?
I think it's Scott. I think Chris was always a big fan of Scott Sinclair. He was gutted when he went to Swansea. Yeah.
We spent 10 or 12 million on him. Jesus.
Yeah, but we could have wasted our money on Hazard instead. So we got
dropped
Sinclair.
that deal for £2 million. 2 million, Jesus Christ. Some of the deals we've just.
I want to say this before I have to go. Unfortunately, it's dinner time over here.
Yeah. No
this preview has me with more questions than I thought I had, but with regards to tomorrow's game, I'm going to be so amped for it. And please tell me you're doing a watch along.
No, we're not. I'm not doing watch-alongs this season because I want to spend some. I'm going to watch them with my father.
Okay.
I'm watching the games with my dad.
All
so
right. Okay.
Just make some memories at the moment with him.
I understood. But post-match.
Well, you should know. You told us you're coming on.
All right. Well, I wanted it. I was trying to have it said out loud, but I will definitely be back to catch you guys post-match. Look forward to tomorrow's game, and thank you for including me on this preview, man. It's a first of many, and I always love talking football with you guys.
No worries. And if you haven't been over to Beta Games, please go over and give his channel a view. He does some amazing work. And you never know. You may see one or two of us over there. But go and give Beta Games. I'll put his link in the description when we finish this video for you to go over and have a gander at him. But he's back tomorrow night, post-match.
I am.
Me and Oswald. Rich is having a night off tomorrow.
Oh.
Naughty Rich.
Lucky guy.
And quite literally a night off. Yeah. At 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah, what time are you getting up?
I'm at 3:30 in the morning. I'm going to go and get more sleep. Not talk to Michael, Dave.
All right.
Ozzy's going to be like, "Who's Michael and who's Dave?" Now you got Ozzy asking questions now, right? Anyway, yeah.
Thanks, man.
You get going better, and then we're going to wrap up in a moment. Anyway, mate.
Sounds good. I do predict a win. That's what I'm going to say.
Before you go, are we winning? Are we losing? Are we drawing?
We are winning. We are winning. We are winning. That's all I'm going to say. Thanks, guys.
Take care, mate. Right, Rich. We've got 5 minutes.
Yep.
Where let's not do score predictions.
Yep.
Let's just do win, draw, or lose.
I think it will be a narrow win. Something like 2-1, and Haaland will get a goal.
I fancy a draw tomorrow. What I don't want is, I don't want a big expectation before kickoff of everyone going, Haaland hat-trick, Haaland this, Haaland that. Because right now, as things stand, I don't have an expectation for the season. I'm not going to sit and go, we're going to be champions, we're going to be this, we're going to be that. Because right now, where we're at, this is why I don't like the transfer window being open right now during the season started. Because where you are right now will be somewhere completely different in 3 weeks' time.
Martin, I'm going to have to start a minute. We have to win the league for the good of the world. So we are going to win the league. We have to win the league. And there's no other real way about it.
With our squad, Rich, can we win the league? Right now, as of the 7th, it's now 7th of August, 2022, have we got the squad to win the league?
Yeah, we can win the league. Team. We can win the league. And we will. We have to. I mean, the thing is, when it is all said and done, I think there is 3 teams who can win the league this year. City.
Do Liverpool, not say the T word.
Spurs. Now, one of them has one of the best managers in the game, but fundamentally they're a cheese shop that hasn't won the league for 60 years. So when it really comes down to it, they're probably going to be thinking more about, Camembert and Brie and Roquefort than they are about winning the league. So they probably can't do it. And the other is the ultimate bridesmaid. I mean, you really are talking now that in the history of football, no one is better at coming second than Klopp. He's won 1 league title in 10 years. He's probably come second about 8 times or 7 times in that time. He is a master of second place. He's set Liverpool up to come second. Liverpool will deliver perfectly on coming second.
Even Charlie's astonished with you, Rich.
Yep. Conte has won something like 5 of the last 7 years where he's completed a full season at the club. He's won the title. He's a bloody great manager. And they will be a different side than they have been.
They're not capable of getting 90-odd points. They're not.
Well, no, because we're going to win the league, so they're not going to win the league. But
you just said only 3 teams can. I look at that Spurs squad.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, not but won't. Can, but won't. Because City's going to win the league.
All right, Southampton can win the league.
Yeah, but theoretically. But no. I think I think anyone, honestly, who completely writes off Conte when he does have arguably as a combination the best two attacking players playing together for consistently delivering goals and assists in Kane and Son, and he strengthened their squad. They play a game that's a lot less intense than City and Liverpool, which will help them with the World Cup. They will have players not going as deep in the World Cup. So I don't think it's impossible. But they are notorious chokers and they are a cheese shop, and we do have to remember that. And even if Antonio Conte is a phenomenal manager, he's still managing a team who hasn't won it since before the Beatles. So there is that.
Game from Patrick. That's all you need to
Yeah,
know.
well, it's true. It's true, but it wasn't Conte. You know, he's done it. He's done it at Inter. He's done it at Juventus. He's done it at Inter couldn't win the league for anything.
I see what you've done now. Alex Johnson's got Arsenal. Jesus, they're all coming out of the woodwork next. We'll be at Newcastle in a minute.
But no, I was having this debate yesterday. You've got, Conte's strike rate of league titles is better than 50% when he's managing in the top 5
Yeah,
of the season.
what happens when things get tough and he doesn't get his own way?
Well, he wins the league. Yeah, I didn't say he wouldn't win the league and then disappear. I'm just saying that.
Right. So he'll tease winning the league and then piss off.
Well, it's quite possible. It's quite possible, but everyone worships Klopp. Klopp has managed 21 seasons in top 5 in football, 18 top flight, and Klopp's record is one title in the last 10 years. Conte's only managed in club football about 6 or 7 of those, and he's got 4.
Listen, Rich, I'm with you. He's won the title everywhere he goes. The problem comes with Conte is when Conte knows he can't win the title, or the title becomes non-achievable, he leaves. And the thing is with Conte is right now, Daniel Levy has the checkbook open. When that checkbook closes, and it will, this is not a regular occurrence down at work.
That's fine. But that's why I'm not saying Conte's going to win 5 titles at Spurs and be there for the next 7 seasons. I'm saying that they have, I think, a far better chance than anyone expects this season because of the World Cup, because Conte probably won't spend more than 2 or 3 years there, so they've only got this. It's probably their only chance with Conte because it probably will be gone.
Chelsea have just spent the best part of 300 million. Shouldn't they be challenging for the league?
Chelsea should.
But it's Tuchel in trouble.
They're going all City, aren't they? And trying to play some kind of false 9 without a striker. I just think Chelsea have got.
I don't know if you were asleep. Did you see? Have you seen the Chelsea Everton game?
No.
They were very much beat at Manchester City, Chelsea today. They were trying to do with Sterling what we did with Sterling, and guess what? Sterling did the exact same thing for them what he did for us.
Did he miss a sitter?
Yeah, and he also went down trying to get him. Basically, it was like watching City in a Chelsea shirt. He tried to do all this fancy tiki-taka, build-up play and everything else, and it didn't work. It didn't work. And I'm telling you now, Tuchel, for me, will be the first managerial casualty of this Premier League. Tuchel will be gone.
I think that's a fair chance, actually. I do.
Ronnie Beaver's spot on. Literally. Yeah. I just think, you can't spend the money. They've got an owner at the minute who is showing the size of his you-know-what around to get, look at me, he's doing a scattergun approach in the transfer market. Literally, the bottom left back when they've already got 10. This is what Chelsea are doing now. It's like, screw it, we'll just throw money around. There is no philosophy. Yeah. They've got, the average age at the back is like 250. 2 of them went off injured, one with cramp, one with not. They haven't got a chance. He's dicing with death, that lad. Dicing with death.
That's why I didn't mention them. I mentioned Tottenham and Liverpool.
You said Tottenham as well. You got me all riled up. Anyway,
Yeah. Excellent. It's not. I should say Conte, not Tottenham. Conte.
Yeah.
I think he is so underrated.
I think the best thing
he's the kryptonite to Klopp. Klopp's the most overrated manager in football history, and Conte's the most underrated manager in football history, and they're going head to head for second.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, I don't know if Ozzy agrees, but me, you, and Ozzy can sit down. I think what we'll do is, I think we'll do a show when the window closes.
Yeah,
I think we need to properly. We can analyse. We can then go on to where people are. I think making predictions of where you're going to win, stay is difficult at the minute because you don't know where United haven't even really got moving yet. I think this is going to be the busiest 3 weeks ever in the transfer window because not a lot of teams have done a lot. So
yeah,
I think it's best we come back and we analyse this in 3 weeks and see where the lay of the land is.
I think Chelsea still need a striker and still need a centre back. So they're going to buy. You'd think United are going to sign 3 players. Maybe we'll all be getting freebies on loan from Barca when Lewandowski and Rafinha can't play, and we could get Lever as backup for Haaland.
Exactly. Money Duck, I can't remember it. I'll have a look, mate. I will have a look. If I get it, I'll email it. Yeah, I do apologise, Money Duck. I haven't even had chance. Right, we are back tomorrow. There is no watch along, like I said, this year because I want to spend the watch alongs watching them with my father, who I've explained is very ill. We will be back though tomorrow night. Monsieur Richard will not be here. It will be myself, Oswald, and hopefully Vader for a little bit of time. And if anyone does want to come on, send us an email, mancunianway at 1894@gmail.com. And come and have a chat with us. We're going to be live around about 10 o'clock. Keep an eye on the Twitter at Horsey City and we'll tell you when we're live. For everyone who has been on tonight and subscribed, big thank you. We want to try and get to the 1,000 subscribers as quick as we can because it opens up a lot more opportunities for the channel, your community, your family to get better things for yourselves. So that's what we want to do. Please give it a thumbs up. Give it a share around. And also, if you haven't listened to BBC 606 tonight, go on it because I was hilarious. No, I'm only joking. I've even had Robbie Savage tweet me back saying, "Hi, Mike." I've got Robbie Savage taking the piss at me now. That just says it all. Rich, enjoy tomorrow's game.
I will.
Are you watching it? Are you staying up? Are you going down the Cheers
bar? No, I'm not going down the Cheers bar. I'll be trying to go to sleep about 10, get 3 hours sleep, wake up, watch it, and then try and go back to sleep.
Yeah, well, we'll be back tomorrow. Big thank you to Vader for coming on. I will stick his link down below in the description. And also, Rich, as ever, getting up. You need to realise this guy gets up at silly o'clock to come and give his views to you fellas. And I'm talking, sometimes it's 5 a.m. he gets up to come and talk Manchester City with you guys. So big thank you to him. Big thank you to Ozzy as well, who works a very important job. And again, silly hours. So these people are giving up their time to come and give their views. So thank you very much.
And Martin, I haven't even had a chance to watch the highlights of the boat race derby yet and the mighty Oxfords win this morning.
Was that today?
Yeah, I think they beat Cambridge yesterday.
How's your Oxford Fan TV channel going on?
It's like Oxford. It didn't quite get promoted last season, but this season, there's always this season.
Everyone's gonna be at Oxford United FC Fan TV. They'll all be looking it up now, looking for you, Rich. Take care. Thank you to Rich. Thank you to Vader. Enjoy the game tomorrow. We are back 10 p.m. UK time for all the post-match. We will see you then. Take care. Please give it a like, give it a share. And we'll see you tomorrow night. Take care.
Enjoy.
Please.